Yes, we're here again, and it's another beautiful time to learn so much about ourselves and our environment.
Yeah.
Nice having you in the house. Could you just wave to the camera so we can know you're here clearly? Fantastic. Before we delve into the main menu,
Okay.
or course, if you wish, for today,
Okay.
we would like you to tell us the gender-specific infection for each gender.
Okay.
And why the opposite sex cannot be affected or infected by it.
Ooh. I think I would go for prostatitis for the men. This is when a man has been exposed to an infection for a long time. Now, it can trigger prostate enlargement in some men and prostate cancer in some others. A man can infect a woman with the infection that triggers both the enlargement and cancer in them. But a woman cannot be diagnosed for prostatitis simply because she doesn't have the prostate gland. Yes. For the women, I think I would go for trichomoniasis. It is a parasitic infection that triggers discharge and burning sensation in women. Men are asymptomatic to trichomoniasis, but it doesn't stop a man from getting infected with it and passing it on to different women at a time. Yes, a man can be a carrier of it, but he cannot experience the symptom. Yeah.
But is there any particular reason why a man cannot, say, be diagnosed of that?
Well, I think it's due to the organs. Men's private organ is different from the women's own.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, that's cool. Let's dive into the first main question for the day.
Okay.
Can one take any medication as a preventive measure against future sexually transmitted infections?
Yes, of course. I think there is a method that is considered pre- and post-exposure prophylaxis. Let's start with bacterial infections like chlamydia, gonorrhea, and syphilis. If one has a partner who is a carrier of any of these bacterial infections and they have just had coitus, it is encouraged for that person to quickly get their post-exposure prophylaxis. It is a kind of antibiotic medication that is prescribed to these people. And people often are encouraged to take it within 24 to 72 hours of exposure. Yes. The second one, which is a pre- and post-exposure prophylaxis, is for a viral infection like HIV. Now, for the pre, people are often encouraged, if they know that they are going to be engaging in coitus, with multiple partners who may most likely be carriers of HIV. So they encourage these people to try as much as possible to get injections, right? PEP injections every 2 months. Yes. And of course, they can also get the pills that they'll be taking daily. Yes. But for the post, if one finds out that, they've just been with someone who is HIV positive, it is encouraged that they try as much as possible to get their PEP within 24 to 72 hours. This would also help them, it would also help them to prevent getting the virus.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Now that, we have some understanding about what PEP is, is there any equivalence of PEP in herbal medicine for sexually transmitted infections?
No. This is because herbal medicine is often produced specifically to target something in someone.
Okay.
So until that thing shows itself, you can't really just say you want to take herbal medicine. And of course, when people come in contact with diseases and infections, herbal medicine is not often the first choice, most times, yeah. But when they've tried the mundane medications and it didn't work for them, then they resort to taking alternative medication. Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. Okay. What do you think about men or women who take they take antibiotics regularly to prevent sexually transmitted infection or pregnancy? Well, what do you think about that?
I don't think it is a wise decision to be taking antibiotic medications as a woman or as a man. Why? Because antibiotic medications, when taken wrongly, can affect the internal organs, or it can cause the body to build up tolerance
when it's abused.
When it is abused. So that means in the future, when that body actually needs it, let's say this person has abused it in the past and they now find themselves having to go through a surgical, procedure, or they have to, take it for any other health reason.
Yes.
It may not work for them. Yes, and then for women, antibiotic medication cannot prevent pregnancy. Yes, it cannot. So it is just done wrong. And of course,
it could even be dangerous to the pregnancy.
Yes, exactly.
But not necessarily to prevent it.
Yes, no, it can't prevent it. And of course, it can also damage the internal organs. Yes. This is one of the reasons why in the advanced world, you have to get a doctor's prescription to get access to antibiotic medications. But here in Nigeria and other parts of Africa, you can just get hold of it like this, which is not right.
Over the counter.
Yes.
Interesting. All right. Can an infection transform itself into another infection? And if yes, could you cite a few examples?
An infection cannot transform into another infection. But guess what? It can evolve. So let me give you a few examples. Let's start with immune system, right? Our immune system is considered our personal angel that God put in our bodies. So we are expected daily to eat right, the right food, keep a good partner as well, who is clean, hygiene to, practice good one, and also live a good life generally. Exercises, yes. But at the end of the day, we are unable to fulfill this. Now, when the immune system gets weakened, you would know that an infection has come into the body, right? And when that is taking place, it can cause secondary infections to come into the body. So this is another example. So secondary infection is usually when, this person already has staph, but because the immune system is weak, herpes is able to come in, chlamydia is able to come in, you get, and other infections are able to come in when they most likely get engaged with partners who are infected or carriers of those other infections. There is another example I would like to introduce, which is considered like the co-infection process. This is usually when, let's say, someone, a man, is infected with HPV, and the same person has gonorrhea, right? Then he meets with a woman whose immune system is weak. At that point in time, once they engage in coitus, he transfers these two infections into her system. So that is considered co-infection. So 2 infections go into the system.
That's
and
like
they're
a negative way of saying, killing a bird
with
killing two birds.
2 birds with 1 stone. Yes. Okay. So another example I would like to introduce is the antibiotic resistance. Right. I think we talked about that earlier. When people take antibiotics when the body does not need it. This just causes the body to build up tolerance against that type of antibiotic medication. And if they need it in the future, the body would not respond to it as it should. Yes. The next one I would like to talk about is the evolution. Yes. This is usually when the genetic markers, of that particular infection changes its characteristics. For example,
for adaptation purposes.
Yes. So, for example, someone may be infected with staph and they've been trying to get rid of it for a long time. They are unable to get rid of it. So what do? They're like, okay, let me be taking different medication. They're buying antibiotic medications. Their body already built up resistance. There's tolerance going on in the body. Their immune system is weak, and this evolution process just kicks in. So the same staph infection, the staph bacteria, can now decide and say, let me trigger something else in the body. So that's when you now notice that normal symptoms of staph is no longer what that person is seeing. You'll see some people, we've had lots of clients that would be like, they can't drink Coca-Cola. They cannot take bread. They cannot eat certain food because immediately they do that, they'll start to experience burning sensation and even worm-like movement in the body, in the head, in the privates. So yes, so evolution can actually happen. Yes. And the next one I would like to talk about is the virulence, of the infection. And that's usually when the virulence is altered. This is the degree, at least it is considered, the degree at which the pathogen, the infection itself, can cause a disease in the body. For example, infections like chlamydia, candidiasis, trichomoniasis that we talked about earlier can actually cause a woman to develop pelvic inflammatory disease. That's when you notice, fallopian tubes are blocked. This person is experiencing endometriosis. Of course, some of these, it is not that these are the main things that triggered them, but when this virulence altering happens, then you can see that these infections can develop into diseases and cause other things to happen in the body, including even ulcerative colitis. People don't know what causes it, but we've seen people who have history of infections, such as this, experiencing it.
Yes, this was so loaded, as we say sometimes. Could you just do give a last word to someone out there who might, want to be encouraged one way or the other? Just a sign of someone who need it.
Okay. I'd like to advise and say, just know that infection does not know who you are. It doesn't care. Whether you're rich, whether you're a celebrity, whether you come from anywhere, your status in the society doesn't matter. Once you get an infection, you get an infection. And anybody can be a carrier. So don't look down on anyone, or don't just think that because this person is nice, this person is cute, this person is rich,
clean.
They look clean, that they are not carriers of infection. Keep your guard up.
Thank you so much for embracing this invitation. To see you back in the studio soon.
All right. Have a good day. Bye.